A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development for religious organizations in the United States, the Internal Revenue Service (IRS) has announced a proposal that could reshape the political landscape for churches and other houses of worship. The IRS suggests that pastors should be allowed to endorse political candidates from the pulpit without the fear of losing their tax-exempt status. This proposal effectively seeks to create a carve-out for religious organizations from the Johnson Amendment, a rule that has been in place since 1954, which prohibits tax-exempt entities from endorsing or opposing political candidates. The Johnson Amendment, named after then-Senator Lyndon Johnson, has been a contentious issue for many religious groups who argue that it infringes upon their First Amendment rights. In a joint court filing aiming to resolve an ongoing case against the IRS, the agency, alongside the National Religious Broadcasters Association and other plaintiffs, has requested a federal court in Texas to halt the enforcement of the Johnson Amendment against them. The IRS and the plaintiffs stated in their filing that the Johnson Amendment should be interpreted in a manner that allows religious organizations to communicate with their congregations on political matters during religious services. This interpretation, they argue, would ensure that the amendment does not stifle the freedom of speech and the free exercise of religion. Experts in nonprofit law have noted that the IRS's stance could lead to a significant increase in political discourse within churches. Although it has been largely understood that the IRS has not actively enforced the Johnson Amendment against houses of worship and practice, the New York Times highlighted that this move by the IRS could open the floodgates for more political endorsements from religious leaders, potentially altering the dynamics of political campaigning within religious communities. This proposal comes at a time when many religious leaders feel that their voices are being suppressed in the political arena. They argue that the ability to endorse candidates is a fundamental aspect of their religious expression. The joint filing by the IRS and the religious organizations emphasizes the need for a clearer distinction between religious teachings and political endorsements, suggesting that the two can coexist without infringing upon tax laws. The implications of this proposal are far-reaching. If enacted, it could lead to an increase in political mobilization among religious groups, impacting elections at local, state, and national levels. Many religious leaders have expressed their support for the IRS's new interpretation, viewing it as a victory for religious freedoms and a step towards greater involvement in the democratic process. However, critics of the proposal warn that allowing churches to endorse political candidates could lead to a blurring of lines between church and state, raising concerns about the potential for political bias within religious institutions. They argue that tax-exempt status should come with certain restrictions to maintain the integrity of religious organizations and prevent them from becoming tools for political agendas. As the debate continues, the IRS's proposal is set to be closely scrutinized by lawmakers, religious leaders, and the public alike. The outcome of this case could redefine the role of religion in American politics and set a precedent for how religious organizations engage in the political process moving forward. In conclusion, the IRS's call for a reinterpretation of the Johnson Amendment marks a pivotal moment in the intersection of religion and politics in the United States. As the nation grapples with issues of free speech and religious expression, the implications of this proposal will undoubtedly reverberate throughout the political landscape, shaping the future of how churches and religious organizations participate in the democratic process. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.